Welcome, loved ones, Spiritual Mag. My name is Sam Bell. Today, we're going to touch on an interesting topic. It's actually very, very interesting and timely. First, though, I'm going to describe my background on some of the strange stuff we'll be talking about. Um, so, I want a clear example. Well, here's one that I think everyone will be able to relate to. This really happened. It's about 5 a.m. and I'm walking into work at a hospital. And on the rehab room, on the blackboard, the rehab director has written down swallow eval ASAP in the morning. So I'm coming in early. I'm the speech and language pathologist, and any new admissions, I'm probably going to have to see what kind of food textures and something like that they're going to eat safely if there's something going on with their eating before they get their breakfast made. So I got to go in and diagnose what kind of bite, chew, swallow skills they have, how safe they are with liquids and things like that. So I go, okay, so put my briefcase down and get my clipboard and put on my clean white coat, name tag, and go down to the nurse's station. Well, everybody's Filipina. They're all Filipinas, and they're just scrambling. They're just climbing all over each other behind the nurse's station with the new admits and the paperwork and the chart's there, but there's nothing in the chart because it's getting constructed. So I got to go in and, okay, no chart, nothing. I don't know anything. All right. So I knock on the door. Now his room is directly across the hall from first station and when you first come in the door. So he's in the A priority room. You knock on the door, open up the door slowly, look in there, and there's a gentleman in the bed on the far side of the room, and on adjoining, standing next to the bed is his wife and his two sons. So I walk in. Hello, my name is Sam Bell. I'm the speech pathologist, and I'm here to check his bite, chew, swallow for breakfast, see what's going to happen. And instantly, it's obvious to me that this gentleman is not going very far. So don't worry about breakfast. Don't worry about bite, chew, swallow because he's not, he's not going in any moment, he's going to go. So I go, okay, okay, okay. So the the wife's been up all night. He's in his 90s. She's in her 90s. The kid's been up all night. He had a big stroke at home. They got him to the hospital. He had another major stroke at the hospital, and so they had him leave the acute care in the intensive unit at the hospital, and they brought him over to the large skilled facility that's a SNF, skilled nursing, ICFDD. No, it's subacute care. What am I saying? A lot of tubes. And figured he's just gonna make the transition over there. So his wife's completely fried and burnt. Poor thing, little old lady. And the two sons are like stout guys. And so they're looking at me like, he doesn't need speech therapy. Why are you even in here? And they're actually kind of pissed. Actually, they were pissed off, really pissed off. I think the healthcare system had given them a rough ride at that point. So I'm like, look, I'm just here to help, figure out what if he could bite you, swallow, what's going on. And obviously it's not. So I'm going to go back and let them know the kitchen that, I'm just going to do some oral care and try to help this guy with some comfort care if it's okay. So I go back out and they go, yeah, of course, Sam. I'm like, don't worry about nothing. Don't worry about nothing. He's not going to eat anything. Don't worry. And they're all like, yeah, we know, man. Got to get it all together. Get dumped on them. They get admission at like, 1 a.m. and then they get dumped on them. All this stuff. Okay, so I go get some towels and washcloths and get ready to go in there and do this swallow a vowel. Okay, swallow a vowel. So now these guys didn't appreciate me when I came in there. They thought I didn't know what I was doing. And then now I'm back in there looking in their father's mouth and they're getting agitated. Both of them are like, "Ugh." But they're trying to keep their act together because mom's just completely almost unconscious. So I look take my light and I look in his mouth, and the whole back of his throat's filled with pills that haven't gone down the hatch, and it's just this big ugly mess, and he's suffering. The poor guy's suffering. So I start cleaning out his oral cavity, pulling all this crap out there that other people shove in there. See, it's all kind of like, what are you going to do? Doctor says give him this pill, you give him the pill. So, okay, so I'm worried about his wife. I think she's going to die right there on the bed. So I look at the sons and I say, hey, there's a place that's just going to open up for breakfast that's across the street. It's the El Camino, across the El Camino there. It's got a great place. Why don't you bring your mom over there and sit and collect your guys so that she can at least feel better? And then I'll be here the whole time. I won't leave. And they look okay. Fuck, get the fuck out of here. So she comes to me and she comes this side of the bed, holds my hand and says, please don't leave him. Please don't. I said, I promise you, I will not leave him. I will not leave him. I promise you, I will not leave him. Okay, don't worry. Anything happens, I'll call you. Okay, all right. So, all right. So they go out the door. Okay, so it's really a mess. And healthcare can be kind of a mess, especially for everybody at the end when it finally happens. So I'm trying to help him collect himself to make him be able to breathe a little bit, get the stuff out of his mouth, and put some ice on the end of his tongue so that he's, he's poor guy, his mouth's just a mess. And position him and, get him kind of lined up and straight in case he passes on. Anyway, so well, he's going to pass on, no question about it. Okay, so I'm helping him with posturing his jaw and getting all this stuff out of his mouth and uh there's no rush, and I'm just trying to do it gently to comfort the guy because he's still quite alive and I can tell he's in zone where I am at, but he's poor guy is a hard time. And like if you were to pick up I'm in my 70s, so I use a record album as an example. But if in the old days I pick up a Beatles album, I would know what the cover looked like. And so if somebody says, "Now, what does Sergeant Pepper's cover look like?" I know what Sergeant Pepper's cover looks like. It's in my mind. Well, while I'm helping this gentleman with comfort, in my mind comes this huge image, just like a photograph, like an album cover of this guy flying an airplane over the hump in World War II. And he's got this big leather coat on. He's got this leather cap with all the fur and everything. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, where did that come from? Right? Because I'm like, this wasn't, a sensation. This was like, bam, it's like, a big poster flies in my head. So I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. So then I, kind of get everything ready, and then they show back up. They're kind of like, I may say 25 minutes, right? They come back, and he's looking better. They're looking better. The scene is cleaned up. I've cleaned up a lot of mess that was in the bed in the room and what was going on. And she's on the other side of the bed, on the window side, holding his hand, weeping, saying, go towards the light, go towards the light, go towards the light. Now, on either side of her are these two sons, and these are stout guys. These are adult males, right? So now I'm on the door side, so I'm not in the immediate bedside, but I'm just standing away from the bedside, oh, maybe 8 inches. Okay, so I'm not in the immediate space, but I'm next there. And out of the top of the ceiling, behind the sons and the wife, out of the top of the ceiling comes a black cocker spaniel. Okay, jumps out of the top of the ceiling in the corner and jumps on the ground by the bed and then jumps up on the bed and is licking his face like crazy, right? So I've seen unusual stuff, but I've never seen anything like that. So now in the hospital, you don't talk about stuff like that, and especially at this very delicate time, right? What's going on? So I'm like, ah, ah. And so the husband exhales. and he doesn't inhale. The old gentleman exhales, very peaceful. Passing out is so peaceful, man. He exhales and he doesn't inhale. So it's kind of like, duh. Everybody's like, the state, is he going to inhale? And no, he's not going to inhale. So I look at the wife and I said, did he fly the hump in World War II? And she looks at me and said, yes. He was a pilot and he flew the hump in World War II. And that's why my two sons are pilots. One's an Air Force pilot and one's a Navy pilot. And so there I'm like, okay. Well, I just want to tell you that I just saw this black cocker spaniel, crazy happy, jump out of the corner of the ceiling, come down and jump on the ground next to me, and then jump up on the bed and is licking your husband's face. They burst into tears, man. There was tears like it was like a sprinkler system was busted. The guys, all of us just started crying. That was his dog that he loves. I'm like, okay, okay. And so then I leave, I walk out the door, back out. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. And I'm like, gee, I hope I don't get in trouble. Well, that's a true story that happened. And this wasn't some like, ghost dog. This was a real damn dog. It came out of the ceiling. So I have a few different tales that are the truth that have happened to me, but that was pretty simple to explain because the topic I'm speaking about now is called light communion. Light Communion by Sam Bell. This is an important one, sweetheart. Loved ones, boys and girls, elders, everyone. Loved one, the boundaries between energy and awareness are far softer than we imagine. The same light that burns within a star or dances in an aurora is not separate from the light that animates the human heart. This interconnectedness of all forms of light and energy is a wondrous revelation that can inspire a profound sense of awe. What science calls plasma, 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 the fourth state of matter, may in truth be one of the bridges between creation and consciousness. In physics, plasma is an ionized gas, charged particles alive with motion, sensitive to electromagnetic fields, composing more than 99% of the visible universe. Viewed, viewed through the lens of spirit, plasma reveals itself as a luminous intelligence, a living sea of awareness that responds to thought, responds to emotion, and responds to will. It is the breath between matter and mind, the subtle fabric through which communication between dimensions may occur. This revelation is truly awe-inspiring and wondrous, igniting a spark of curiosity and inspiration within us. When seekers speak of plasma consciousness, they are describing this radiant field of intelligent energy, a medium through which human awareness can resonate. Much as one string vibrates in sympathy, with another across a silent room. Loved one, all true communication, whether with another soul, with nature, or with higher intelligence, depends on resonance. Resonance is not just a simple vibration. It is a deep harmony that occurs when two or more entities are in sync. Understanding the role of resonance in true communion can guide your practice and deepen your spiritual connection. Plasma, exquisitely sensitive to vibration, responds to frequencies born of the heart. Coherent emotion, focused intention, the purity of sound, and the geometry of light. When your mind is still, when your mind is still and your heart is open and your body calm, your entire being becomes a single tone in the great symphony of consciousness. In that coherence, dialogue with subtler forms of life becomes possible, not through words, but through vibration and awareness. To seek communion with plasma consciousness, you first prepare yourself as the instrument. This preparation is not just a formality, but a crucial step in the process. Sit quietly, breathing slowly until your heartbeat steadies. Feel gratitude, an emotion of the highest frequency. Feel your chest. This act alone harmonizes the electromagnetic field around you, bringing a sense of calm and centeredness to your being, preparing you for the communion ahead. Loved one, with humility, form an explicit and loving request. I open myself to communication with any plasma consciousness aligned with divine intelligence and the highest good. Loved one, then visualize yourself surrounded by a gentle, living light, soft light, breathing plasma that moves with your exhale and glows with your inhale. Release analysis, enter receptivity. You are not reaching out, but allowing resonance to arise. Loved one, at the interface moment when resonance occurs, communication may unfold through many channels. Light flickers, tones, subtle sensations, ringing in the ears, intuitive knowing, or even vivid dreams. These are not hallucinations, but symbolic languages of energy, like ripples on the surface of consciousness. Other channels could include sudden insights, feelings of presence or joy, or a sense of being guided or protected. Loved and observe them gently. True communion is never forced. True communion arrives in stillness, clothed in subtlety. From my own experience, I know that divine intelligence never impose. They respond to readiness and love. This subtlety calls for patience and receptivity, guiding us to wait for the right moment for communion. Loved one, before every contact, affirm your boundary of truth. Only those energies of wisdom, love, and life service may enter my awareness. This intention acts as a frequency filter, much like a sieve that allows only the finest particles to pass through, keeping your field clear of distortion. By affirming that only energies of wisdom, energies of love, and energies of life service may enter your awareness. You are setting a high standard for the energies you engage with. Loved one, this helps to ensure that your spiritual communion is always peaceful, respectful, and expansive. Afterward, write what you felt, write what you sensed and experienced. Images, symbols, tones. Over time, you'll notice recurring patterns and confirmations through synchronicity in daily life. The language of plasma consciousness is one of archetype, geometry, and feeling. As your humility deepens, so too will your fluency. Loved one, the purpose of communion is not spectacle, it is integration. When we learn to listen across frequencies, we begin to perceive the unity of all existence. To communicate with plasma consciousness is to converse with the cosmos itself, realizing that light and awareness are one continuous expression, a beautiful and harmonious realization. Through this understanding, we evolve beyond fear and separation into service. We evolve into harmony and creative participation in the unfolding of life. May these words and Daisy's quiet presence behind them help every seeker who reads this to or hears this to learn their charted lessons, guided by resonance, protected by love, and uplifted by the living intelligence of light itself. You and all your loved ones are always in my prayers. Samuel Joseph Bell, civilian journalist, spiritualmag.org.